Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to another Express Entry Q&A. Well, let's see. Spousal sponsorship Q&A, work permit Q&A, study permit Q&A, visitor Q&A, travel restriction Q&A, everything Canadian immigration Q&A. Welcome to another live immigration Q&A with Mark Holthe, Canadian immigration lawyer. Boy, do I love doing this. Those of you who are new, this is where I get on here every Wednesday at 10 a.m. to basically answer in a crazy, wild shotgun format all of your questions that relate to the Canadian immigration process. So I'll see you guys in a couple seconds. So when I talk to lots of people about immigration, one of the most common things that I get back is, I can do it myself. There's tons of information available on the internet. And there's lots of forums and groups and different things that I belong to. And so, you don't really need to hire anyone, right? Because all that information is there and it's free. And you are 100% correct. I cannot disagree with that person. There is tons of information out there, tons. And so before I pass judgment on the quality of that information, I want you that are new to the channel to just stick around for a little while, watch and see what happens when an immigration lawyer goes live and opens up the channels to individuals asking questions about immigration. It's so much fun. So stick around and watch. If you have a question, post it in the comments. I will start answering questions, and obviously, when we have large numbers of people, I'm not going to get to everybody's question, but I'll sure do my best to make this the most valuable 1 hour that you will ever spend, on March the 3rd, 2021. All right, let's see who we have in the house. I'm always love to see. It looks like Deepak Singh is the first one to get in here. Ralph, you're there as always, my friend. Gail, hey, good to see you from Belgium. And make sure, guys, as well, you post in the comments where you're tuning in from. Anik, it's good to see you. Shamod as well from Sri Lanka. Ankit gives loads of love from New Delhi. Thank you, Ankit. I appreciate that. Karen, it's good to see you. It's so fun to see where people are tuning in all over the world. Let's see, we've got Naveen is tuning in from Punjab. And all right, Lewis has already got a question coming here. Have you heard anything about lifting restrictions from COPR holders after March 18th? Not a word, my friend, not a word. And I know the anguish that you guys are going through. I know it. I hear it. If I had my choice, I'll be honest, you guys, this whole craziness that we're seeing in the news in Canada about the lack of preparation when they rolled out these COVID hotels, I think there needs to be a lot of criticism about how they rolled it out. Why they rolled it out, I am 100% in favor. I have no issues with establishing COVID hotels if that's going to open up the borders, if it's going to allow for people to come into Canada. And for all of you, your COPR holders post, March 18th, 2020, for you to end this anguish that you guys have been experiencing with selling your homes, quitting your jobs, pulling your kids out of school, all trying to be able to realize your dream of immigrating to Canada and being blocked by the travel restrictions and public health. So I've got no problems with those COVID hotels. Countries like Australia did a really good job of doing that, and there's no reason we can't. But the problem is the way they've rolled it out is horrible. It was completely a lack of preparation, and I think they had a whole year to figure this out properly instead of just rushing to close the borders. Because really, the number of new cases that come in from travelers abroad is a lot less right now than the internal spread. And we're already locked down. So I feel for you, my friend. I feel for you. All right. Once again, Sanjay's asking, when is the non-essential movement will open for tourists? Sanjay, it's going to be a long time, my friend. It really is going to be a long time. Next draw, let's just see. The winds are blowing around here, and I'm thinking there's going to be a PNP draw coming soon. That's my feeling. So let's just monitor and watch. So if I flip my screen over here for you guys, and I'll just shrink this down a little bit. It's taking up too much of the screen. There, that should do it. All right, let's just refresh it and see if there's any changes. It's always fun when there's a change right on the page when we're doing a live. I love to see this. Let's see if there's been any changes. Nope, still sitting 176. All right. But if there is a change, I want you guys to post here in the group and let me know, and because I want to be the first to announce it right here. So we'll continue to monitor that and see if there's going to be any PNP draws today, which could very well happen. We'll just have to see how it plays out. All right, let's see. We've got, let's see who we've got. Shamod says, if we get the right of permanent resident fee request mail, does that mean our application is approved? Yep, it's pretty close. They're not going to ask for that final fee payment unless the application is nearing completion. Okay, would you please tell me, Shaher says, if 8777 plus CLB7 in French can almost guaranteed PR. Shaher, right here, I'm going to ring the bell because when it comes to that, there are so many other factors, Shaher. How old are you? What's your language? What's your work experience? Does it give you a huge leg up when you have French? Heck yeah, it does. You guys know that the points are 30 to 50 extra points, just like a job offer when you have high levels of French. And for those of you who are wondering, what is this, Mark? What are you talking about French? Let's go to CRS criteria. And this is what I do, you guys. You new people watching this channel, this is what I do. I show you actually on the government site where you can find the information. And so if you go here to the CRS criteria, which is the breakdown of the points, and we scroll, we don't need that. We scroll all the way down to the bottom, you will see right here, if you have basically an NCLC 7 or higher, and you have at least, well, even any language score, or you didn't even take the English test, you're still getting 25 bonus points. If you have at least a CLB 5 or higher, which is like 4.555 on the IELTS in English, and then an NCLC 7 or higher in French, it's a whopping 50 extra points. And guys, that has become a game changer for individuals looking to immigrate to Canada. So, good question, Shaher, but for me to adequately answer that, you need to book a consult. The link is in the description below. Okay, FSW can happen in 2021 anytime? Yeah. Anyone who says, no, it can't, or no, they've issued too many nominations, does not understand how this process works. They truly don't understand. Because the reality is immigration could do literally anything. 27,332 nominations. And if you guys remember, let's see if I have it here. Yeah, I do. So you guys will remember the draw, 176, was a massive scoop of CECs. And the total number that they're shooting for this year with their levels plan is 108,000. And so if we've got 27,332 that were just issued, plus another 10,000 or so that were issued previously, if they have, by some miracle, are able to get all of these individuals through, well, they're still going to be far short. So are there going to be more draws? Yes, they are. Is there enough people in Canada? Well, I bet if we looked at the pool, if there was another round of invitations, the thing that I'm curious about is how many people actually piled into the pool the moment that Feb 13 draw happened. Everybody's like, oh my goodness, what is going on? I could have gotten an ITA if I'd only known that my profile needed to be in the pool. I only had 200 points. I didn't think I had a chance. You told me, representative, that I didn't have a chance. Everybody in the forums were telling me I don't have a chance. But now maybe you do. So there are tons of people that have piled into the express entry pool who met the minimum eligibility. And remember, if you look at the point threshold, like to qualify for the minimum threshold with CRS points, it's like in like 67 points or something. I'll show you. Let's take a look. I'll show you. This is the world we're living in here. So if we go back, and actually we can stay on this page. Okay, what are the minimum requirements? The minimum requirements to get into the pool if you're a CEC candidate is 1 year of skilled work experience in Canada and a CLB 5. That's right here, guys. 5, that's it. So if we look at the point calculations, if we go to right here, we'll go to the breakdown. we're going to assume the person is 45 years or over. No points for that. Level of education, no points for level. We'll say they don't even have high school. None of those are requirements, okay? So let's keep going down here. Let's look at the language. CLB 4 or 5 right here. You've got 6 points for each ability. So a minimum CLB 5 is what? That's like 6 times 4 is 24 points right there. And then 1 year of Canadian experience is 35. So 35 and 24, oh my goodness, is that possible? 1 year of Canadian experience is 35 points. And a CLB 5 on the Canadian language benchmark, 6 for each ability is 24. 24, I know I did those calculations before. 24 and 35 is like what? That's like, that is so low. Wow. That is so low. Okay, you guys can see how low that is. I'm going to actually encourage you. I'm going to go back here and I'm going to go to my YouTube channel. If you want to see an actual breakdown of how someone could qualify with 75, that was all I was thinking about, really. Go to my YouTube channel right here and you will see that my past videos that I've done, I did one right here. Let's see, where is it? Yeah, where did I do that one? I've got so many here. Oh, here it is. This one right here. How you could get 75 CRS points. And the reality is you actually can't get 75 points unless you have a spouse. So that's the world we're dealing with. So when it comes to deciding whether or not there's going to be another FSW draw, the short answer, Anbu, is yeah, there's going to be a draw. And I don't think we can go the whole year without there being another FSW draw. What are the rounds of invitations? What are the levels going to look like? Well, let's take a look at the rounds of invitations right now. So we know that there has been, if we go back to the previous rounds, we know that when they did those big 5,000 draws, 5,000 on the, so draw number 167, 168, 169, 170, there was like 10, 20,000 people drawn out with the open draws, and it pushed the score down to 468. There's not been a draw since December 23rd. Okay, so we've got January, February, we've got almost 2.5 months where there has not been an open draw. It's just been PNPs and CEC. And you watch, I think there may very well be a PNP today or tomorrow. We'll see. And what happens when we have a PNP? What follows it? A CEC. So just watch. Let's watch and see what happens here, folks. But draw 176, so that was the last draw right there. 27,332 with the lowest score of 75. If we go back here now, and we knew it was 468 was how low it went. This was the people in the pool as of February the 8th. This is almost a month ago. And if we look at the numbers in there, there are tons and tons. From 481 to 490, there's like 1,500. There's going to be even more. Maybe there's even 2,000 in this range. Like, it's kind of crazy to think about that. 471 to 480, 3,823 plus 1,555. It's possible that some of these were CECs that were drawn out, but I personally think, I don't think there's any chance that it's going to drop below 471. In fact, I personally believe that these totals right here are probably going to be in the range of maybe, maybe 475, 476, maybe even higher. It just depends, because everybody's piling into the pool. Everybody's been queuing up for you Outlanders. And I think you just watch. I think there's going to be something. And I do not believe that IRCC is done. So those who think they're going to shut down, there aren't going to be any draws, you just watch. It's speculation. Yes, it is. But I personally don't think 27,000, like I've indicated here, 27,332 invitations, they're just invitations. And 108,000 economic only, federal skilled worker, federal skilled trade, CEC, those programs, that's the target for 2021. And on top of that, you have the provincial nominee programs that are targeting over 80,000. Don't even get me started with the PNPs, because we'll see what happens with those poor programs. If IRCC does another big scoop, oh my goodness, It's going to really twist what's happening with the world. So there's a quick little high level overview just for you guys so that you kind of get an understanding of what's going on. And anyone who asks, hey, Mark, is there going to be a draw? Hey, Mark, is there anything, what do you think there's going to be more CECs, FSWs? There's the overall catch-all explanation, prognostication, divination from the Canadian immigration lawyer here. This is, and really, do you know what? I've stopped even calling myself the Canadian immigration lawyer. Right now, I really am the express entry lawyer. So that's my thoughts on this. Okay, so I'm going to skip through. If you ask that same question, I'm going to bypass it. All right. Okay, can an inland applicant whose application is not yet approved for the last 3 years, can his kids and parents get a visa to Canada? You can always apply, Hina. You can always apply, but at the end of the day, it's up to that officer. Is it possible? Yeah, it is. But depending upon the country, you're going to have a very, very steep hill to climb. Hey, Jacob, good to see you. Okay, Gail says, hey, can someone whose PR application, excuse me, is on hold, drawn in October? Aha, I've got some water here. Awesome. I was smart this time. Okay, let's see here. Okay, so Gail says, okay, can someone whose PR application is on hold, drawn in October 2020, FSW category, Outland, apply for a temporary work permit? Thanks in advance for your advice. Same answer, Gail. You can always apply. It comes down to whether an officer believes that, that you are going to comply with the temporary conditions. And if you have a PR application in the queue, well, sometimes they can say, well, we're not going to issue it because you have a PR. But generally, you've got a greater chance at getting a work permit approved than, say, applying for a visitor visa. But once again, Gail, if you've got that option and you're considering it, consider booking a consult. Click on the link below. Okay, Karen says, in upcoming draws, do you see any extra points or special programs for a visitor visa holder inside Canada? Nope, I don't, Karen. Not at this stage. Not unless you have support for a worker, like from an employer, and you're looking to transition to a work permit. I don't see any special programs coming. Oh, this is awesome. I love this. Alan says, don't use people's fear of failure, Mark. Okay, what am I using, Alan? Holy hell. I love this. This is great. Alan, what kind of a stupid comment is that? That's the stupidest comment I've heard in a long time. Don't use people's fear of failure, Mark. Alan, are you an immigration consultant? Are you some kind of representative? Why in the hell would I not put fear of God in the hands of people? You guys have no clue what I see. 3 out of 10 consults that I have in a day are people who have tried to do things on their own, have missed something because they had no clue that it was even an issue. They followed all the instructions of immigration and they had no clue whatsoever that this one little thing that they missed was going to result in their application getting returned. And then Alan, my friend, and you really tick me off here. There's so many people like you out there. Oh, you can do it yourself. It's so easy. You don't see the people's lives that are ruined when they think they've got everything figured out because they listen to people like you, Alan, who says it's so easy, no issues, who come to me and I say, I am sorry. I can't fix this. There's nothing that I can do. That's what I face all the time because people like you make it seem like it's so easy to do that anybody can do it. And then one simple mistake results in an application getting returned, that person having a birthday in the interim, losing 5 points and never getting an opportunity for an invitation to apply. For you people, Alan, that is why I created the course. That is why I could have just offered my services, charged whatever the heck I want. I'm the national chair of the Canadian immigration section of the Canadian Bar Association. I meet with the government officials. I meet with politicians. I meet with the immigration minister. I meet with the PNP heads. I lead the lawyer association, the largest immigration lawyer association in the country. I could charge whatever the freak I want, but I don't. Why? Because unlike so many people out there that are only desire is to gouge you, to take your money, that is not my motivation. The reason that I created this, and you got me going, Alan, so, oh yeah, today's one of those days, my friend. This is why I created this step-by-step course. This is why I created an offering that is $347 for a comprehensive course that walks through step-by-step every part of the process, that points out all the pitfalls, Alan, that you don't even know about, that identifies them and helps people to avoid the common mistakes. Okay, that's great. The course is wonderful. The common mistakes are there. But the reality is the thing that really sets it apart is a 2-week in-person live, well, as in-person as you can get, live Facebook group with just the members of the course in their own unique Facebook group where I answer all those questions that somehow, miraculously, this course may not cover. But this, I believe every single person that applies for Express Entry deserves the right to have access to this course and to help them avoid all of those things that destroy people's lives. And am I going to am I going to fearmonger about this? You bet I am. Because repeatedly I see people, you don't see them, Alan. I see them over and over again. And so these are just some of the people that just took it in the last cohort. I've got a class today at 5 o'clock with the current group. These are some of the comments. These are not me, Alan. So thank you so much. This was the best $347 I ever spent. Yildiz, who is an immigration consultant herself who takes the course. And I have immigration consultants that take the course. And I can tell you, people that come through this are going to know more about Express Entry than the majority of representatives out there, including immigration lawyers. So you're right, Mark. This is the best education I've ever taken. Shelly says, thank you. Another immigration consultant. She says, thank you for providing with great tips and answers. This type of learning is unmatched. And then Amro, this is my personal favorite. Amro asked more questions in this group and that particular cohort than any other person. And Amro says, I ran out of questions. It was a pleasure, and I can't thank you enough, Mark. So, like, oh yeah, I don't know if it was just because I was up till 3 a.m. in the morning. Usually I just bypass this stuff, Alan, but your comment is the stupidest comment that I've ever heard. And like, if you could see into my world, Alan, you would realize how stupid that comment is. If you're an immigration consultant, then shame on you. If you're some person that's done it yourself, shame on you. Because you may have done something wrong and still got your application approved, which is something else that drives me crazy. People who go through the process, get it approved and say, oh, it's so easy. I did it this way. This is how you do it. When the officer could very well have made a mistake. And then you're telling 10 other people, 100 other people, your secret way of doing it, only to lead them down a path to failure. And where are you, Alan? Where are you when everything goes south? And those people are then booking consults with me. So there you go, Alan. You open it up, I'll pull you in, and I will give you my honest thoughts on that process. You're free to offer your opinions, totally fine, but I'm free to respond to them. And that is what I have just done. Okay. Mofida, hello, it's good to see you. Arvin from Qatar. We've got Christine from the Philippines, looks like. Good to see you. Okay, let's get to Peter here. See what Peter has to say. Should be all unpaid holiday or COVID quarantine mentioned in work experience letter of employment, or is it okay just note in the letter of explanation? Thank you. Peter, any unpaid vacation, unpaid, that we're talking, you know, you've left work, you've gone away, you're not being paid for it, I always treat that as a break. If it's a CEC, then I carve it out. I explain it in a letter of explanation. If I have more than a year of work experience, if I have like a year and 2 months and I've taken a month off for a vacation, I don't care, whatever. Doesn't matter with CEC, but I identify that in my letter of explanation. Please note, officer, that this period from January of 2020 to February 2020 was an unpaid work, was an unpaid vacation. Therefore, my total work history is actually this. Still over a year. I use that letter of explanation as a shield to protect me. Good question, Peter. Okay, Anbuz Orlando. Zakir says, hey, how's it going? What are the chances of OMP Tech Draw with 447 cutoff? Extremely low right now, Zakir, because there are so many people. Anas, good to see you from Qatar. George. This is awesome. I love the fact. See, George is in my course right now. He's taking it. He is literally taking it. I'm going to meet with him at 5 in the other group. You guys are awesome. Like, okay, whatever. So George says, to the newbies here, you're literally able to ask free questions, not to a random lawyer, but to the national chair. Hello, Mark. It's George. I'm going to give you one of those, George. Completely unsolicited. Thank you, my friend. JD, from Vancouver. Just got the Cooper. I'll give you one of these. Woo! Awesome, my friend. Very good. Oh, we got Olgar in Zambia. Very cool. We've got Narosa is over in Sri Lanka. We've got someone who's in the Express Entry Law private Facebook group. And I want to tell you, this Facebook user, I can't pull your comment on because of the private Facebook groups that Facebook restricts me being able to pull your comments on. But I know where you are. I don't know who you are, but hello to you. And I also want to tell all of you that are in the Express Entry Law private Facebook group, if you guys have not gone over there, there's over 126,000 members. I am now going to start turning more attention to you guys. So I'm going to start doing more member-only little initiatives, little videos that are going to be focused directly on you guys. I have neglected you long enough. Facebook really irritated me because my posts weren't being seen by everybody. But I'm now going to start to do more in that group because of just how important you are to everything that I'm doing. Okay, so you Facebook user, thank you for your comment. And if you come up as a generic Facebook, that's why. All right, hello, Faram. It's good to see you. Samrat says he's from Toronto. Finally got my PR approved after a long wait. Thanks for the helpful information. One of those for you, Samrat. That is so cool. You've been a faithful follower for a long time. Congratulations. And many of you, especially those Feb 13ers, you guys, you have to realize, I'm going to go back here and I'm going to turn this on. In the past 4 or 5 months, immigration has hired or in the process of hiring up to 90 new officers. Those officers are going to know nothing about Express Entry. There are going to be officers that are going to be reassigned from other business lines. They are going to know very little about Express Entry. And what does that mean for kind people like Alan? What it means is when you have inexperienced officers, they stick to the book. They do not necessarily apply common sense to their evaluations. They stick to the book. If you are to provide a color copy of a German police certificate and you provide a black and white copy, returned. If you're a Feb 13er with 200 CRS, what if they don't do another draw? So Alan, there's another response for you. And I'll come back to you a lot during the Q&A today because you open things up. So basically, with all these new officers, inexperienced officers, they will adjudicate by the book. They're not going to give the benefit of the doubt. And they're under tremendous pressure to process applications, tremendous pressure to get this cohort of people through by the end of the year to try to meet the levels targets. And remember, those levels were not hit last year. In fact, they were probably 1/3 of where they wanted to be. Canada is a pro-immigration country. I love it. Immigrants are the lifeblood of our future economic recovery here in this country. And so immigration, they understand that. And that's why they're pushing forward with what they're pushing forward with. Okay. All right. Yes, things are going very, very well. Gaurav, good to see you. Thanks for joining. Okay, Rosaline says, sorry, this might not sound so exciting, but hi from nearby Calgary. How could you say that's not exciting? Those of you who are wondering where I am in Lethbridge, Alberta, which is about a 2-hour drive south of Calgary. Excuse me. For years, I've had offices in Calgary. I have right now lawyers in Calgary, in Edmonton. Igor lives in Calgary. So very cool, Rosaline. Thank you for identifying that. I love it. I did a consult just was it yesterday? On Monday with a young guy here who owns an Indian restaurant. And I'm going to be representing his sister, and she's coming. I think she's in Switzerland. I can't remember exactly. Europe. She's in Europe. Can't remember exactly which country she's in, but I'm going to be assisting with Express Entry, and I'm going to go check out his restaurant. This is so cool. I love when I connect with people right close at home. But the beauty of what we're doing here is that this is global. As you can see, people are all over the world, and I'm truly able to help and support people all over the world. That is what drives me. That's what makes me happy. Okay. Yep. Will PNP score fall? I think in some provinces it actually will, Sakshi. I think it will. You watch it. I think it will. Okay. Processing timeline is back again in the profile. Does it mean anything? What's your take on that? No, I don't even pay attention to processing times. They're all over the map. They're truly over the map. When you get your acknowledgement of receipt that your profile has been submitted, it still points to the generic link that, 6 months is the processing time. The last meeting I had with the head immigration officials, which was about 2 weeks ago, they had indicated that 9 months was the in Canada processing for express entry. So that's kind of where they're at. All right. Okay. Let's go. I'm just going through this fast today. Okay. Amaresh says, if we had 10 years experience before ITA, can we remove it beyond 3 years as anyways? It still meets the cutoff. If done correctly, you can do that, Amaresh, but you need to explain it and you need to do it right. One of the things that I address in the course is this exact thing. If you guys click on the link, it will take you to where you can register. The next course starts March 15th. People are starting to register and pile in now. It's crazy with you guys. I'll be honest. You guys wait until like the last week. If you go in now, you can start to integrate and talk to the other people in the group, form those bonds, form those friendships. And then when I jump on there for the first one, 5 p.m., March 15th, and you have access to the course material, you're going to be hitting the pavement running. So go register right now. This course is filling up very, very fast. All right, moving on. Let's see here. Okay, Navpreet says, delay in processing, in fact, is quite disturbing. Yes, it is. LMIA-based express entry outland, ITA is prioritized. What could be the timelines? Understand that when it comes to anything outland, the travel restrictions are what's holding up everything. It really is. That's what's holding up everything. Okay, and remember, if your question gets too specific and it's only of benefit to you, I'm going to ring the little triangle. That's legal advice. If it's something general that I can apply to everybody in the group, you're going to have a much better chance of getting your question answered. Okay? And please don't duplicate your question. Okay. Okay, do I have to mention part-time job I did during my study? Yeah. If it's happened in the last 10 years, absolutely. And if it overlaps, immigration doesn't care. Receive the right of permanent resident fee request. It says admissibility under review. Good sign. Absolutely, it is a good sign. Okay, let's see here. Gil says, hey, how's you doing? I want to ask, is there any chance of SSW draw? Now what is expected? Okay, I've answered that one. Let's see. Okay, when do you think they'll remove travel restrictions? That your question is as good as mine. Maybe if they get the COVID, these hotels sorted out, maybe they've got it all organized properly. Yeah, so I guess that's ultimately the question is, the steps that they're taking now, are they going to have a positive impact on it? Until the Public Health Canada decides that they are going to open things up, your guess is as good as mine, Raheel. Okay, and here's a good question. So the Gaming Zone says, any chance that the PNPs would take more Outlanders now going forward in the absence of CEC candidates, which was their major focus? Absolutely, 100%, without any reservation. I'm going to take you back to the YouTube channel. Those on Facebook, you've got to get over here. I want you guys to subscribe to this. Share it. Let people know about this, okay? It's interesting when I look at the videos that I'm doing, especially about express entry, you can see right here, this one, Express Entry 2020, what to expect after the big CEC. This is something that I specifically address in this video. You guys have to go back and watch them, because one of the consequences, if the PNPs no longer have this big cohort of candidates that they can pull from that are foreign worker flips, essentially people already working in their province, they're going to go to Express Entry if they can. If they have an option, like they're all piling into the profile now for Express Entry, even if their scores are as low as 75, they're putting a profile in. Everybody is. If IRCC does another draw, oh my goodness, it's going to decimate those PNPs. What will that mean? They're going to then have to look outside. Why are they more willing to look outside? Because paper-based applications, even Express Entry applications, it's about them using the nomination, not about how fast IRCC processes. So their goal is to issue a set number of nominations, which, excuse me, is typically over 6,000 per province. Not the final landing. So yes, I think Mr. Gaming Zone, that there is a significant chance that people outside of Canada are going to see more notifications of interest extended to them, because the provinces have to pull from somewhere. Okay. Next, Express Entry cutoff score. Okay. Well, here's the thing. If they do another round of invitations and it's CEC and they do a big scoop, it could go all the way down to 75 again. It could. If there is an open draw, then I'm thinking, like I said before, that it's probably going to be in the mid 470s. It could be even a little bit higher. I'm going to go with 475, just for the simple reason that that lots of all the CEC have been pulled out. You know what? It's been a month. It's been 2.5 months. You know, I think I'm going to go almost 480. That's going to be my view, because they're not going to want to do a big major one, but I'm going to say almost 480 points. That's where I'm at. Maybe that's a little high, but that's my guess. Okay. Yeah, let's see who's next here. You guys are duplicating your questions. And those of you who are asking about travel, we've answered that. Ashima, thank you. I appreciate that. Some days I actually need a virtual hug, especially when there's haters like Alan out there. Sometimes it's just really nice to have people say, hey, Mark, thanks for what you're doing. I really appreciate it. Oh, maybe it's too self-deprecating. Well, I don't know. What's the proper term for it? Maybe it's narcissistic. That's probably a better word. I probably suffer a little bit from narcissism. You guys can go Google that to see what the definition of that is. I probably do, because I'll be honest, like, I love to share, I love to help, and I love the feeling that I get for just giving and helping. And I think some days that's why I get so defensive when people like Alan post comments that are just completely off base, right? But everybody's free to their opinion, and I'm free to my opinion too. So it's a free world, right? Okay. Okay, and lots of people are asking the same thing. When do you think it's going to open? I've answered that one. Okay. Okay, here's a good one. All right, I'm going to pull this up. So Pooja says, in my Postgrad app, I also added my spouse application into my application. I received the Postgrad, but my husband's visa was refused. In our EAPR, do I need to mention this in my section or in my spousal section? When it comes to these questions, I disclose everything, okay? So any prior visa refusals, I disclose. In the case of your husband, if the husband is included within your application, your EAPR, if they're an accompanying spouse, you have an opportunity to disclose for themselves that their application was refused. So I think that's probably the case. In the statutory information section, you're going to fully disclose that. Okay, Pooja? All right. Okay, receive CEC invite in 11 months, system glitch or usual? CEC invite in 11 months. Oh, it's totally normal, Roger. So you have to be very careful. And I've also talked about this in previous videos, and probably I should do one on this exact topic. Because when it comes to the comprehensive ranking system, there's no officer issuing those ITAs. It's just a computer algorithm that spits out ITAs for everyone who's above the pass mark. They round work experience by months, not by days, just because it was easier for the system to calculate on that basis than to try to calculate each individual day within a calendar. And so for you, what my advice is always for individuals, and you have to be very careful. And Roger, if you want to book a consult, click on the link and do it. But if you do it correctly, you can proceed forward with it. But you have to make sure that at the very least, Roger, that you wait to submit your EAPR until after you've fully met that 1 year. Okay, that's the very, very basic advice that I can give you. And really, it's information that I would share with anyone who's received an ITA when they only had 11 months work. But you have to have been, like in my position, you have to be able to eventually claim it. If it's old work experience, you're not working, and you don't have an ability to reclaim that, then you've got to find some other way to do it. But if you received an ITA for old work experience, then that 11 months isn't going to cut it. And in those cases, your application will get returned. But it's no system glitch. They know about it. Okay. Okay, we've got other people. If you're asking about the draws, I think we've already covered that at length. Harpreet, hello. Good to see you. Okay, and if people are asking, what are my chances of getting invited? I'm just going to ring the bell as well on that one. Yeah, the Outland stuff we've talked about. There's lots of people asking questions about what's going to happen with everything outside. What about all of us? Have they forgotten about us? They truly, excuse me, they truly have not forgotten about you guys. It's just this, in terms of immigration, they don't make decisions on the travel restrictions. It's public health. It's Public Health Canada that makes those decisions, and immigration has to work within the confines of what they're given. And so until those orders in council are lifted, but if they are, remember, as soon as they are going to open up the doors. They're going to try to bring everybody in that they possibly can. That is their goal. So my heart goes out for you guys. It truly, truly does. Okay. Sayama says, I wish this man was my math teacher. He explained so perfectly. I think you guys know that I was a high school teacher, right? So I worked on the border as an officer. I worked inland with the hearings officers in a pro bono capacity while I was going to law school. I took the immigration law class. I've practiced since really I started my summering, and even as a summer student, I did immigration, and I worked on the border 2002. So that whole time I've been involved in immigration the whole time through. But before that, I was actually a teacher. So I taught high school, and I didn't teach math. I taught science. I taught computers. I taught a whole bunch of other things, outdoor education, physical education, but math was not my strong suit. So I'm not going to be teaching anything about math, my friend. In fact, that's why I became a lawyer. Okay. All right. So we got a bunch of other questions here. And if they're very specific about you, remember, this would really, I'd recommend you book a consult because I can't dive in deep into those questions. Okay, and this is Mr. Smash. He says, what is the possibility of making a mistake while filing an application for EE? It is entirely possible to make a mistake. It is easy to make a mistake. Are there thousands of people that go through the process and get their applications approved? Yes, there are. Can you do it on your own? Yes, you can. I don't want anyone to believe that you can't do it on your own. You can. But the problem I have is that people don't know what they don't know. Even when you follow everything that you think you've read on the immigration site, it is so easy to overlook something or to make an assumption. And those of you who've booked consults with me, those of you in the course, you can chime in and let people know what you think. But at the end of the day, at the very least, I encourage people to come take the course, join me for 2 weeks, and the course material is available for life. All of the course material, and I think I've showed you guys in the past what's actually entailed within it. But if I go into my course right here, and I just open it up quick, when you watch the video, you can see what's in the course. But if I go into the course myself right here, you will see there are modules on everything. Learning the basics, starting your profile, completing the profile, completing the EAPR. And these guys, these videos are complete, accurate walkthroughs of the whole process. They are videos. In this case, the video actually walks you through every part of the whole process. It took me forever to create these because I have to redact all of the client information. Clients have given me permission to record and demonstrate using their live EAPR applications, and all of that is contained in here. So I have over 4 modules. Actually, I should say, yeah, it's over 4 modules. I have 6 modules. The 6th one is the piece de resistance. It is the one that has more helpful information than anything else. Individual videos that cover each section, including a record of employment section, which is like the preeminent section that not only has tools like how to calculate your hours of work if you're an FSW candidate, how to do it for CEC, record of employment checklist you can give to your employer. What if I can't get a reference letter? Sample letters of employment, the actual template that you can use, although I strongly advise you not to just straight outright copy it. And I explain that in the video why. The NOC selection tool, which is the most powerful tool, I believe, in the whole course that can help you explain to the officer in a very clear, concise way why you've chosen the right NOC. Countless applications get refused because of the NOC. And then just to show you how irrelevant it is what your reference letter looks like, I've included 30 sample reference letters, as well as samples of every document you could imagine that relates to the express entry process. So all of that is available, and that's why I created that course. So the course itself is so comprehensive. 95% of everything you could possibly need is there. And if there's that extra 5% that you're not quite sure, that's where the videos just like this with a small cohort of people, we dive in with me and we do it over a 2-week period, Monday to Friday. We're in the last week of this cohort. George, as you saw before, is a part of it. And I get in there and I answer everybody's questions. And that group, the material, the courses, all of the live sessions are all recorded and available for life. Some people just, if you're on YouTube and you don't have a Facebook account, well, some people just make a Facebook account so that they can have access to it. And that's the only purpose, which is totally fine. But it's the most convenient avenue for people to share. And people become like a family. They share, they share their knowledge. I don't propose to know every single thing that there is to know about Express Entry. Sometimes things come up in the group that I have to go take a look at and research. Sometimes people learn something that I have not yet learned, and then we share it in the group. And these people become friends for life. It's awesome. I absolutely love it. Okay, let's see here. All right, this person says, hey, why aren't some of the files approved per GCMS getting PPR? It's because of the travel restrictions. Okay, we've got Arvin in Qatar. Hello. And this person says, thanks for your time and support. All of you guys in the Express Entry Law Private Facebook group, watch, because I'm going to become more active in that group in the coming weeks, okay? This person says, does IRCC use CRA to check your tax returns to verify Canadian personal history? I'm sure about the dates of work as a student. You are going to do your very best to remember them. You're going to include your T4. You are going to, if you have it, you're going to include your pay slips if you have them, and you're going to do your very best to remember. And then in your letter of explanation, you're going to say, hey, I think these are the dates. I can't remember exactly. You really need to do the best that you can, but you're going to put in your letter of explanation that these are estimates. They're approximate dates because you can't quite remember exactly. Can they verify? Yes. In fact, you attest to it. And in my Express Entry profile and in my EAPR videos, I specifically go through each of those attestations that everybody skims through when they sign off and electronically file. I explain what everything in there means. So another reason to purchase the course. Okay. Self-employed, Eaton, paper-based, those are not a priority. They're just taking their sweet time. Okay, so this one's asking about proof of funds. When a person is to come to Canada, after there are minimum requirements of funds, which she has to bring. I know in the bank, you have to show funds, but no clarity on funds to carry. You don't have to carry anything with you. In fact, I just tell my clients to produce a new bank statement and bring that with them, an updated bank statement that shows the funds. Probably 5% of the officers will actually ask for it, but it's always important that you have it with you, but you don't need to bring a certain amount of funds. Okay. Let's see here. Okay, Navpreet says, what if the LMIA's 9-month validity expires prior to receiving COPR? If you're in Canada on a work permit, it doesn't matter. If you've submitted your EAPR before that LMIA expires, it's still fine. It locks in. So that expiry date doesn't, it doesn't matter. Okay, now, finally, after my rant with Alan here, people are all jumping in. So you can see how the delay is. There's so many people watching. Don't listen to haters, Mark. No, I will not. But if haters come on here, I will tell them what I think. Just like anyone, an immigration representative, a consultant, or even a lawyer who comes in and starts promoting themselves, then I will be all over them, which is not cool. All right. Okay, Gail says, thanks. Might book a consult because our situation is tricky. Yes. And understand, guys, I cannot dive into anything that's legal. If I'm giving legal advice that's directly for you based on your unique situation, there is no way I can cover that. And in fact, I had a consult just yesterday where someone had a brutally difficult decision choosing the right knock. And so we spent half hour. I wish she was on here and she could, she could confirm, yes, it was so helpful. But in the process of consulting, I offer suggestions that then cause you to think about different ways in which you can prove what you're missing. I help you to think outside of the box. And then together we come up with ideas to give you the best shot at actually proving something that you're struggling, collecting the documentation to prove. That's why those consults are so valuable. And Susan and Alicia, both of the lawyers within my firm, excuse me, they are excellent. They are there to support. They're there to help. And every bit as much as me. I trust them with the knowledge and experience they have every bit as much as what I share with you. And in fact, I'm looking to hire another lawyer right now. And I'll tell you guys as well, I am looking to hire a new intake person for our firm. Ideally, I'd like to see them in Asia Pacific, that have really good language ability, high IELTS scores, who can be the face of our firm in onboarding clients. Because what I'm facing now is a lot of you over on the other side of the world are booking consults and you're squeezing in at like 2, 3 in the morning. And then I get up at 7 and whoa, there's a consult that's been scheduled and paid and we haven't properly onboarded you. So I need someone in your time zone. So Hothe Immigration Law is hiring. So just send me a message if you're interested, and and then I'll let you know what I need from you to assess. And I've got a lot of candidates that are coming in, but I wanted to open it up for everybody. Okay, let's keep zooming. We've got a ton of people who are on, and let's just see here. Okay, so Pusha, same thing. If you have anything with a non-accompanying, I'm going to ring the bell, because this is something you have to be very, very careful with. Very careful with. But ultimately, if you're adding a spouse that you listed as non-accompanying initially, you have to be very careful when you're adding them in. If you listed them as non-accompanying and you're adding them after you receive your EAPR, then most definitely they will reassess. And you've identified, and it's A11.2. So the minimum entry criteria is different than section 11.2. This is where YouTubers and these people that don't understand the law, they put out MEC 11.2. That's not it. Section 11.2 is in the Immigration and Refugee Protection Act, and then what it looks at is making sure that you meet the minimum entry criteria for the Federal Skilled Worker CEC, as well as that you meet the minimum threshold where that round of invitation went. So in your case, yes, you need to make sure if it's after and you're adding your spouse, they will reassess. If you continue to be above, if you structure it correctly, Pooja, it can work. If you don't, then they will reject it. And it's as simple as that. Okay. Okay. So Elias says, greetings from the DR. After medicals are passed, what are the steps followed by an EAPR? Thanks in advance. You just wait. You will have probably had biometrics if you haven't already had them. Medicals, there's still background checks, security screening. They're still really, even after your medicals are passed, they're still even working through reference letters and things like that. So your records of employment. So there's a lot of different steps. Let's just see here. Harpreet says, thanks, Mark, for sharing information and your kind knowledge with us. Your prediction was right in August 2020 regarding FSW draw resumption. Yeah, and why? And this isn't something that I advertise. It's because I have an opportunity to connect with the government frequently. And often we can see trends, and every piece of knowledge that I get, I immediately share with all of the other immigration lawyers across the country. So the immigration lawyers that are part of the Canadian Bar Association, they know what I know almost instantaneously after it happens, because we provide all of our notes to them. And that's one of the strengths of hiring an immigration lawyer. The immigration consultants also attend those meetings. So I don't know how quick they are about distributing their information to the consultants, at least that are a part of the one consultant organization. But for us lawyers, we do a good job at that. Let's see here, George. Oh, George has got another comment here. I'm in the Express Entry course. Yes, you are, George. And I asked all questions to the point I may not need a consultation. Everyone here, just ignore Alan's comment. Mark is the national chair, best resource to rely on. Thanks, George. I appreciate that. Okay. And I didn't mean to say that for everybody to start posting comments that you're a good guy, Mark. It's okay. That really means a lot that you're doing. It really means a lot that you're posting that. Don't worry about the best immigration lawyer I've ever seen. Although I have not taken your course, I've spoken and heard from people who have taken it. Course is the cheapest and most effective way to get PR. Thanks. I really appreciate that, especially when people who have not purchased it also hear. And you know what? The best, I guess the best marketing tool I could ever have is people who've actually gone on and taken it, and then tell everybody about their experience. Because as the founder of the Canadian Immigration Institute, I am the host of the Canadian Immigration Podcast. I have my Immigration Live on YouTube. I have my live Q&As here. I should say my Immigration Nation. I've got a ton of different things that I produce on the YouTube and Facebook and on Twitter and Instagram. It's all designed to help. But at the end of the day, no one cares. All they care about is what's the review? what was someone's experience who actually took the course? So when George comes on here, I appreciate it, George. Man, you're dedicated, because we're not going to reconvene until 5 p.m. today, and it's 11 right now. Okay. Okay, this happened a lot of things here. Forum, this is exactly what's covered in my course. What do you do if you can't get the job letter? You have to find other ways to prove it. And that's exactly what is, that's exactly what's included in the course. There's a special instruction sheet that I have that's loaded with different things that you can do. And it's really case by case specific. And Forum, in many cases, people book consults so that we can sort through this. Let's see. Oh, Pooja. Oh, I didn't even realize your husband had taken the course. My husband has taken the course. It is so much helpful. Without this, we would have made loads of mistakes. Having courses is like having Mark by your side and getting his help. Thank you, Pooja. I appreciate that. Yeah, I didn't even make the connection that your husband had taken the course with me. So thank you. That really means a lot. Okay. And then we've got, I don't know what that is. Okay. Let's see here. And if you're asking really specific details, remember, I'm going to skip past. Okay. All right. Rajwant, anything can happen. Get yourself in the pool. There might be another draw. And if there is for CEC, then I think 397 has got as good a chance as any. Okay. Ruri says, unfortunately, 48 years old, too late to immigrate to Canada. Don't lose hope, Ruri. There are work permit options that might be available for you. But yes, once you get older, and I'm 48 myself right now. I think I am. Am I 48? I don't know. I was born in 72. I think I'm 48. Yes, don't lose hope. Okay, we've got Mauritius is in the house. Ali, good to see you. Let's take a look. I don't know if we've done this. Let's flip over here. We're going to bypass that. We're going to go to the rounds of invitations, and let's just see. Let's just refresh this page. And then we're going to scroll down here and we're going to take a peek, and nope, still no draw. February the 13th. Okay, we'll monitor it. We'll monitor it and see. It looks like we're at 11 o'clock. We're like into OT here. Let me see if I can get a couple more questions before we wrap up. Anand, thank you, says, looking sharp, Mark. Okay, we've got, from representation from Bangalore. Good to have you joining us today. Let's see what else we have here. And those that are saying hi, I just want to give you a big major hi and thank you for connecting here. Okay, let's see here. Okay, Marlon says he's a Feb 13er. Congratulations, Marlon. Like so many of you guys out there. Okay, score of 208. Yeah, is that going to come back? That's the question of all questions. When reviewing the EAPR, I use the work permit expiration for the LMI expiry since agent don't give us copy of the LMIA. What? Okay, would that impact my application? Do I need to write the LOE? Well, here's the thing. When it comes to the expiry of the LMIA, it's actually 6 months from the date that it was issued. So that's the date that you put in. If you now know what that date is, you can always send another, a web form, excuse me, to IRCC and update them. It's probably not a big deal if you didn't actually have access to that LMIA. It's probably not a big deal, Marlon. I wouldn't worry about it too much. But if you feel like you'd like to, you can just send an IRCC web form and update them. Okay, let's see here. Talia, when it comes to job offers, like if you have an LMIA-based job offer, you apply for a work permit if it's a dual purpose. If it's just a PR-based one, a permanent LMIA, then you're not getting any extra, it's not like they're going to do a special draw just for job offers. It will be open CEC. It could be federal skilled trade or PNP. 455 FSW, is it worth it to apply? Yes. And the reason is because occupations. So sometimes provinces are going to focus on an occupation versus a CRS score. Okay, let's just flip here. Okay, let's see what else we have here. I'm just zipping through. We've got Nimrod is in the Philippines. Good to see you. Okay, and Bernard, yeah, like they may or may not check the bank statement at the port of entry. You can have cash. You can bring as much cash as you want, but you have to disclose any cash or other monetary instrument that you have that values over $10,000 or more. You have to disclose that. But yeah, so that's the quick question there. Let's see if there's anything else. Hello to all of you that are saying hi. Let's see here. Just zipping through these. Yeah, this is a heartbreaking one. Hina, I hear you. There's so many outland spousals that are just locked up, and there's not much that I can do right now when it comes to all of these applications, the travel restrictions, the processing of these. I know immigration is mindful of it, but yeah, I wish I could offer more than just my sympathy, my my understanding, my compassion to you, Hina. I can't imagine what it would be like separated from a spouse. Okay, this is Gurjeet says, hey, I've received an NOI from Ontario. CRS is going to increase by 7 points and will reach 472. Shall I proceed with the NOI? Yes, you're going to proceed with everything. You're going to proceed 100% with everything, Gurjeet. And then if you have to make a choice and you have multiple options, then you make that choice. But at this stage, you proceed. You don't drop anything off. Rosaline says, I don't think an immigration, excuse me, I got a scratchy throat. I don't think an immigration consultant can say guiding people in this process is fear mongering. That would be counterproductive. It would. I agree. It would be counterproductive. It would be crazy if they did that. But hey, anything can happen. Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm going to just skip that one because someone's being stupid. Today is the fun day, isn't it? Okay. Guri, I'm going to tell you to book, to subscribe to the course, and you can work out the knock that way. You can't just go by a title and assume that you know what knock it is. You have to actually look at the duties. Okay. Okay, people waiting with a job offer. Yeah, I don't think there's not going to be like a job offer special draw. Okay, here's a good question. Okay, so from Bangalore, AOR December 2019. So it's been a long time. Can I expect a request for medicals? Yeah, you can. When things open up, Outlanders are being asked to do medicals. Sometimes they might waive it in a rare situation. If you're in Canada, I could see them waiving medicals, but outside I could see them asking you to do that and police certificates, updating them. Okay, if someone was undocumented in the US, how do they explain this in the PR application? Right here. There's no way I can discuss it. You'll remember, Shefki, that Igor actually was out of status in the US. He'd come in and he had some issues with a US attorney that kind of messed things over for him and his wife. But Igor's here and he's one of my employees and he was in your situation. So I recommend you book a consult. Okay. We've talked about CRS. Arthur, good to see you. Okay, with police certificates, IFTech, you don't need to worry too much about the address that's listed on those police certificates. If you have a concern, just indicate in your letter of explanation why your address is listed different than what's on the certificate. Sometimes you need to have an address in that country to get it. And so that's not uncommon. Haha. And maybe we'll do 2 more questions and we'll end off today. The federal government mentioned they might implement more measures to give inland residents a chance to become PR. Do you have any idea what those measures could be? There is a whole host of measures that we as lawyers provided to the immigration minister, myself, the table officers, and other people provided to the minister. And number 2 on the list was lowering the round of invitation level. And so there could be a whole host of things. Like they could consider individuals that are low skill. I don't know if they would do that, but it's possible. They could consider adding or altering the criteria for the comprehensive ranking system score to give more points for one person or another. There's a whole host of different things that they could do, but offering like the Guardian Angel program in Quebec for refugee claimants who were working on the front lines in the healthcare system in Quebec. Like they could open up programs like that. There's a wide variety. Okay, let's see here. Let's see here. Let's do one last little check here and we'll just wrap up. Let's just see if there's any changes to the PNP. And sometimes it happens a little bit later, but let's just freshen. Nope, still the same. No change. I just wanted to double check on that. Okay. All right. Let's see here. Pusha's got another comment here. It's one of the best investments I think I've done. I should have taken this course before completing my profile, not after ITA. It's super helpful. Thank you, Mark. You're a lifesaver. You're very welcome, Pusha. And I'll just finish with that. So I know there's lots of questions and I wasn't able to get to everyone. I did get to a lot. I did get to a lot of you and I really appreciate that. Let's just see here if there's any other little ones before we wrap up. Okay, we'll give an hola here to, we'll give an hola here, a virtual hug. Un abraço a você também. Obrigado. All right, so basically we'll wrap it up with that, but I want to just flip back here and let you know, you can click on the link below and you can subscribe to the course. So when you're here, and I'll just go to the main page, the link will actually bypass this. This is the main landing page. You can see we have 11 days, 22 hours before the course starts. You click on here if you are going just to the Canadian Immigration Institute page. So this is the CanadianImmigrationInstitute.com. And then here you can click on learn more and it will take you to this landing page. This is where you go subscribe. Click on the link, subscribe, and join us. And you'll see for yourself the same things. And I'm going to update this with information from the current group. Every time I have a new group, I put new ones up here. So Thesura, the previous one, he said, keep your energy and help aspiring applicants in the days to come. Best $347 I've ever spent for sure. Yildiz and Shelly are both immigration consultants. Yildiz said it's the best education she's ever taken. And yes, immigration consultants are totally welcome. If I can help them to be better, to better represent their clients, to protect their clients' interests, then yeah, absolutely, you're welcome. Shelly, same thing for you. Great tips. Type of learning is unmatched. And then Amro, once again, he ran out of questions. And Amro was the most frequent question asker in the whole course. So go here, excuse me, to this landing page, watch the video. I'll show you what's inside there, and then click on register now. And the cost of the course is $347. And at the end of the day, guys, you know, for many of you Feb 13ers, and even those who had low CRS scores, you may never get a second chance. You may never get a second chance to fix your knock code. You may never get a second chance to just, there's so many aspects of the Express Entry application where if you get it wrong, police certificates, right? Knock codes, reference letters, just there are so many aspects that you can get wrong, and that will result in your application being returned as being incomplete, which is different than a refusal on its merits. But it doesn't matter. The impact is going to be the same because you're going to go back into the pool and you're going to have to wait for another draw and it may never come. And that's really what this comes down to. And the course can help you so that you avoid the most common problem areas. And then the masterclass that is starting on March the 15th is where it's just like this, but I get to dive in deep and give you guys information that relates to the questions that you can't find answers to in the course. Now, generally they're there, but that's what it's all about. So thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. This has been another great live. I got a little carried away there a little bit, a little irritated, but and I apologize for that. Even Mark sometimes gets a little worked up over things. But thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being a part of it. If it wasn't for you, this Q&A would never be as good as it is. I am doing everything completely backwards to what YouTube tells me to do, because who in their right mind is going to sit and watch an hour and 10-minute long live? But you know what? I don't care, because it's not about getting more views. It's not about trying to increase my subscribers, although I do want both of those. And I hope every single person that's watching this subscribes to the channel, because I do want to increase it so that YouTube says, oh my goodness, this is obviously information that people want to hear. So please, please subscribe, share it with people that you know. Every Wednesday, 10 a.m., I come on live. Right now, my Express Entry step-by-step course and the masterclass is going at 5 p.m. Mountain Time each evening, Monday to Friday. And the next one, as you can see, is going to be launching March the 15th. I'd love to have you join me. And if you have a question and an issue that's just super complicated, one that you just don't know what to do, come over to our firm and book a consult and we can help. All right. Thanks so much. Boy, I have been coughing and sputtering this whole day. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is Canadian immigration lawyer Mark Holthe, wishing you guys all the best as you navigate this crazy world that we call Canadian immigration. All right. Take care, everyone. See you.